Hello everyone, my name is Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I have an Asus ROG Strix GL703G. I'm going to take you on a teardown or disassembly tour, show you how to get inside the computer and many of the various components you can access and upgrade when you're inside. So first thing, power down your computer, make sure it's off and unplugged from your charger. We're then going to flip your computer over to access your bottom case screws. Now to get inside at the battery, there's several screws we have to take out to get that bottom case off. You'll see them near the red arrows along the outside of the computer, but you'll also see this rubber pull tab right here in the middle. Use a pry tool to get that rubber pull tab off, and there's a screw in there that you also need to get out to get this panel off. Once you get that panel off, you'll be able to see this screw here near the RAM. We're going to need to get that screw out. And then we're also going to need to take up our hard drive because this hard drive caddy, these four screws that hold down your hard drive caddy, they're also holding that bottom case on. So we're going to take out all four screws of the hard drive caddy and unplug the hard drive from this SATA port right there. After removing that, and after taking up this screw near the RAM, we'll be able to get our bottom case off. Take a small flat pry tool and start near the rear, near one of the two corners, and carefully but firmly pry that bottom case up from the rest of the computer. Once you get your bottom case off, this is what you're looking at for the inside of your computer. Now, as a general computer repair side note, guys, whenever I'm working on a computer in my shop, it's sitting on an anti-static mat. Either that or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas to avoid damaging anything in your computer when you're working on it. If you would like any help with tools or supplies for your project, as well as any of the replacement or upgrade parts for this specific model computer, the GL703G, there'll be a link above, also below in the description, and that will be a list of all those tools and supplies and replacement or upgrade parts. Now your battery is right down here along the bottom of my screen. This is a 15.4 volt, 76 watt hour battery. The model number, if you're looking for a replacement, is C41N1716. I'll have that information below in the description for you, but I will have a replacement battery option in that list I told you about with all of the tools, supplies, and parts for this computer. The battery screws down by this single screw right here near the left blue arrow and plugs into the motherboard right here. Now notice on your computer, guys, is a small metal tab right on top of your battery plug that's holding it down. So before unplugging your battery, you have to take a pry tool and slide that metal tab up a little bit. That will allow you to pop up this battery plug from that port. As a last side note with this kind of operation, if you're here because your computer is not turning on, you could have a bad battery. It may need to be replaced. But keep in mind that laptops should still turn on and work even with a bad battery as long as they're plugged into your charger. So if your computer is not turning on, there may be another reason other than just a bad battery. If you want help troubleshooting that issue, I will have a video tutorial link above, also below in the description, and that will show you the troubleshooting process I use in my shop when a laptop's not turning on so I can find the cause and how to fix it. These are your two RAM ports right here above where the battery is. This computer takes DDR4 RAM at 2666 megahertz, and the manual says that its max RAM is 32 gigabytes. However, some have said that they are able to use 64 gigabytes of RAM in this computer. I have not independently verified that myself, but if that's something you want to try, again, several people have said that they are able to do that. So if you do that, if you do that, let me know in the comments. I will have all that RAM information below in the description if you need it, but I will include several RAM replacement options in that list I told you about with all the tools, supplies, and parts. I will include a 16 gigabyte stick of RAM if you're looking to just add a little bit or replace one that went bad. I will also include a 32 gigabyte kit if you're looking for a decent size upgrade. It'll be a 16 gigabyte stick for each port. And then I will include a 64 gigabyte kit for those of you that want to try maxing it out to that amount. The way to operate RAM, if you see here, there's a spring-loaded metal arm on either side. To get the RAM out, you will gently pry those apart from each other, away from the RAM stick. It will then release, Oftentimes it'll pop up a little bit, and then you can grab it from the center and pull it to the top out of this port. To get the RAM back in, if you notice, guys, is a long section here and a short section. So you can't put the RAM in upside down. You can only get it in one way, the correct way. After you get it in, make sure it's nice and flush and straight. You'll see the gold section to the RAM is even across the entire length of it. Once it is, just press down in the center, and these arms will latch onto it and hold it in place. As far as storage, this computer has two different storage locations. You saw the first one here when we were taking off your bottom case. This is a 2.5-inch SATA port right here. You can put hard drives or solid-state drives in that. And then you have this M.2 port right here that takes solid-state drives. As a side point, if you guys want a quick educational video on the difference between hard drives and various kinds of solid-state drives, I'll have a video link below in the description, and it'll take you through the differences of them, which ones work better in different situations. Maybe that'll help you select the right drive for your computer. If you're trying to get at this solid-state drive port, you would simply peel back this guard. There's a screw right here on the right-hand side. After unscrewing that, your solid-state drive will release, and you can pull it out of this port. I will have several upgrade and replacement options for you below in the description in that link I told you about, with all of the tools, supplies, and parts for this computer. As far as a standard hard drive, a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive, I will have a 1 terabyte option, a 2 terabyte option, and a 4 terabyte option for this port. If you wanted instead a 2.5-inch SATA solid state drive for this port, I will include a 1 terabyte and a 2 terabyte option for that. As far as the M.2 port up here, I will include a smaller 500 gigabyte option if you guys are just trying to replace one that went bad and you want to keep your cost as low as possible. But I will also include a 1 terabyte and a 2 terabyte 2280 size solid state drive for this port in that link. As a word of advice, what a lot of people do is they'll put a smaller solid state drive in here, maybe a 500 gig or a 1 terabyte, and that's where they'll install their operating system to. And that ensures that the operating system works as fast as possible. And then for long-term bulk storage, down here to save a little bit of money, instead of putting a large solid state drive, they'll put like a 4 terabyte hard drive. Hard drives are a little slower than solid state drives, but they're cheaper too. So that type of configuration of a smaller solid state drive for your OS and a larger hard drive for your long-term storage, that's a pretty common configuration when money is a factor building these computers. Also, if you do need to install an operating system to this computer, I will have 2 video tutorial links below in the description. One will show you how to install Windows 10. The other will show you how to install Windows 11. And if you're here because your old drive went bad, keep in mind that it's usually possible to recover data from bad drives. I will have more information about that below in the description as well. Your CMOS battery is right here to the left of my screen. It's stuck to the computer by double-sided tape, so if you're here to replace it, you can easily just pop that right up, and it plugs into the motherboard right here. Again, if you're here to replace it, I'll have a replacement option for you below in that list I told you about with all of the tools, supplies, and upgrade parts for this computer. But if you're here to just reset BIOS, you don't need to take that battery up. You can leave it physically down and just unplug it from the motherboard. Try not to pull on the wire, you don't want to damage it. Just use your fingernails or a pry tool to unplug it from that port, and you can leave it unplugged for 15-20 seconds. That should be sufficient to reset your BIOS. Now keep in mind, this will only reset your BIOS system settings, and in most cases will not reset your BIOS password. For more BIOS password reset information, check below in the description. Your speakers, you have one here toward the left of my screen on top of the battery, and then one to the right of my screen to the right of the hard drive port. Now they don't actually screw into the computer. If you notice these orange rubber washers over these posts for sound insulation, that's all that's holding them down. So to get the physical speaker up, you would just wiggle it off of those posts and you can get them off. They plug into the motherboard here for the right-hand speaker and here for the left-hand speaker. Very, very fragile wires. Really try not to pull on those wires. Just use your fingernails or a pry tool or even a small pair of pliers to get that plug out of that motherboard port. As a side note, if you're in here because you're having bad sound quality, if your sound is not consistent across different platforms, it may not be a speaker issue necessarily. It may be a system or a driver issue. I will have a video tutorial link below in the description, also above in the video, and it will show you how to make sure all of your system drivers are updated so you can rule that out before getting in here to attempt an invasive repair like this. Your Wi-Fi card is located right up here near the right of my screen next to your fan. It's got this black guard on it. It's held down by double-sided tape, so you can gently and carefully just peel that right back. There'll be one single screw holding that card down, and after you unscrew that, you can take it out of this port right here. Then you'll only have your antenna wire left. These are just snaps, guys. Those just snap onto the card. So to get those off, just pull directly up and off, and those will snap off of that card. However, to get them back on, they do need to be at a perfect 90-degree angle to snap back on, and you are strong enough to damage them if they're not at the right angle and you try to force it. So it is a little bit of a pain in the butt if you're not used to it. Go slow, be patient, and you will be able to get those Wi-Fi antenna wire back on. I will have a Wi-Fi replacement option below in the description in that link I told you about with all of the upgrade and replacement parts for this computer. And I did want to also let you know, if you're having Wi-Fi issues with your computer where you cannot access any Wi-Fi options, you cannot see any networks, it could be a Wi-Fi card issue, but most likely it's a system or a driver issue. I will have a video tutorial link above, also below in the description, and it will show you how you can troubleshoot that issue and hopefully fix that without having to come in here and replace your Wi-Fi card. So you have 3 fans in this computer right here. Your heat sinks go over these vents down to your CPU, GPU area. First thing I did want to point out right here, you'll see this sticker over one of these screws. Guys, these are warranty void stickers. When you go inside computers and you see these in various locations, if you disturb them, then you're voiding part or all of your warranty. Double check your own warranty to see which one it is. But just be aware that these stickers do exist at various places in computers, and be aware what happens if the service center sees that you've messed with that sticker. If you're here to replace a fan, all you would have to do was unscrew it. They're all screwed down to the motherboard, and then unplug it from the motherboard. These fan wires are very fragile and they can easily break or come out of those plugs if you pull on them too hard or incorrectly. So when removing these fans, please be careful to not damage those. If you're here because you're having maybe an overheating issue, or maybe you're just here to clean out your computer, then I would definitely remove all the fans, blow them out, vacuum them out, clean them out really well. And then if you are here because of an overheating issue, then you're gonna wanna take up these heat sinks and reapply thermal paste. Now I will have a video tutorial link above, also below in the description, and it will be a tutorial on how to address an overheating laptop. It'll show you how to take apart these fans and clean them very well, but it will also show you how to clean off all the old thermal paste from your heatsink and your CPU or your GPU, because you don't want to put new paste on top of old paste. But it will also show you how to put the right amount of thermal paste back down afterwards. If you don't put enough thermal paste, then obviously it won't work. But if you put too much thermal paste, you could end up locking heat in rather than facilitating its transport out. So that video link, again, it will be above and below in the description. But each heatsink is just held on by 4 screws right here, and then you'll be able to get those heat sinks up. As far as some other things in this computer, this is your LCD cable right here that runs down through this hinge assembly. If you're looking to get that up, there's a black pull tab here. Be careful with it because sometimes you pull those and they break. So what I usually do is I pull up on the black pull tab, and then I'll grab down here a little bit and just gently try to pull the whole thing up a little bit. I don't want to damage that cord, but I don't want to put all the stress on that pull tab either. So that's your LCD cable, runs through this hinge assembly. The antenna wire run through this hinge assembly. And if you're looking to get your LCD assembly off, then you would unscrew the hinges and you would be able to get the assembly out. Down here, this is your keyboard ribbon cable, your touchpad ribbon cable. Now, ribbon cables like these are very fragile, guys. Be very careful when operating them. On this connector, you have a black clip here. On this one, you have a white clip. On this one, you have a black one. So each one of these cables, it has a clip. And the way you work it is you take a small, very, very flat pry tool. You slide it up from this direction underneath that clip and gently pop it up. It'll open like a book cover. This side will pop up, and the top side is where the hinges are. If you damage that clip or break it out, you may not be able to find a replacement again, which means that your ribbon cable may not securely fasten in there again. So be very careful, try not to break those. After you get the ribbon cable out, I always put it back down so it doesn't get caught on anything. But that's the majority of the components in this computer. I hope this was helpful. Check out the FAQs below in the description. It could save you some time getting an answer. If you need to leave me a question or comment, please do. I try to get to those a couple times a day at least. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on my next video.